Good morning, everyone. How is everyone? Hope you're well. Delighted to jump on today to share my complimentary in lockdown webinar series, which is sharing the secrets of how to develop a signature style. These are taken from years of working with five-star brands, luxury fashion collections, through to hospitality, hotels and heritage brands. My clients include the likes of everyone from the Ivy collection right through to Buckingham Palace, and in between everyone from Bills to Ivy to Soho House Group. My company is about creating bespoke signature styles and unique collections for brands and individuals as we branch off into sustainable style to help individuals create their own unique look. And with the tilt at the moment, the pivot at the moment being on how can we do things more sustainably? How can we reuse waste? And what I'm looking at while we're in lockdown is how can we work with the wardrobe we already have and update it, or the uniform collection that you already have, and add some textile touches that will add a bit of magic. Reinvent it, repair it, rediscover it, and then re-love it again. So you can start re-wearing it. So I'm really enjoying finding new pieces to sort of work on each week and share some little tips. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background. So I'm the founder of Bespoke Textiles, the author of The Textile Touch, which became a #1 bestseller on Amazon in 2017. And I'm all about helping people design and then get their supply right for a unique brand or collection that they're working on. So as I mentioned, our brands are everyone from Bills to Buckingham Palace. We also work with heritage brands such as Lincoln's Inn and the Honourable Society of Middle Temple. And we work with hotel groups, and we're a multi-award winning designer and supplier to those kind of companies. We also have strong values of trust, transparency, and total collaboration. So when we work together with you, you get total dedication, and we join up a service and pull in strategic partners to make sure everything is seamless. So you get the right product for the best price possible. It's completely bespoke and unique to you, and also with effortless ease and supply. So there's a whole, you receive everything in the most convenient way that works for your needs. And with inside of all of that, you also get strong sustainability values. We have a unique methodology called the Bespoke, and it's based on the acronym of Bespoke. So B for Bertie, E for ethics, S for style. It's got to have style, or else why are you creating it? Because style and performance can go hand in hand, I believe. T for style. I'm going into spelling style for you now. P for people has to be about the people that wear it, the people that make it, and joining all up together. And then O for organization, K for kindness. We believe that everything has to be done with kindness, and good karma comes back to us in that way tenfold. And that's delivered on to you as a reflection of that we really care. And then E for endless sustainable supply chain. So we work with over 46 factories, partners and suppliers from the UK to globally, all over the world. And these might be artisan suppliers who do a specialist cashmere, pashminas, right through to teddy bears and uniform collections to high-end brands, especially fashion brands that can be translated into high-performing uniform suppliers. And also we work with an incredible partner who helps us source off the shelf at an incredible rates for the best value for the whole of the hospitality industry. So there's a plethora of different sources. Today, we're also going to be talking about individuals, and I'm going to go through my style system and talk about the bespoke methodology inside of that. As I touched on before, here's some of the clients that we work with. And these are some of the awards we've won in the last few years. So finalists for sustainability, and also best new talent to the hospitality industry for the Hotel Housekeeping Honours Awards, plus winner of the Women's Business of the Year Award in December 2018, and 2019 became the proud recipient of winners to the best, most outstanding quality hospitality uniform in 2019, awarded by the SME News. So we've got some great things under our belts that we're really proud of. Also, what we're extremely proud of is, I believe in UN goal number 12. I mean, this is the one that stands out for my business and our company ethos, which is responsible consumption and production. And that's what we're aligned with. And and I'm also very strongly for number 17, goal number 17, which is partnerships for goals, so we can achieve the best possible result for your collection and your service. So also coming soon is on the back of the book, The Textile Touch, is courses, defining, helping you define, design, develop, and then also be able to deliver your own bespoke collections inside of a sustainable supply chain. So these are my values. This is my aim with the course. And I've just been recently asked to start working and teaching and critiquing with students from the London College of Fashion, which I'm very honoured to do. So I can see this as sort of helping share and help the new generation as well as existing small to medium-sized enterprises being able to develop in-house and really own how what they want their signature style in their product ranges to expand into, and being able to be the conduit for having those collections created. Oops. For some reason it doesn't want to click on now. Don't know why. Okay, there we go. I think I clicked past 2, and I did. So just to go back to this one, the reason I put this in my background is I worked in the very early days when I came into the fashion industry, I worked for Eccentrics, and here was a very big moment where we had been so successful in British textile design and export, becoming a really famous brand, not only nationally but internationally, starting some of the best department stores around the world. And we had really high standards in which we worked. We produced everything in the UK at that time, and I was the sample development person. This is me speaking to Princess Anne, and also on the owners on the left, and telling her about how we created and inspected every fabric that came into the studio. And we for every lay pan we had to do placement print for all of the panels that were made. So as well as inspecting them before we cut them, we did the placement. And so it was a very intricate build of a collection, and that formula then went to the manufacturing and they copied that formula. So I set up all of the sort of placement and how those sort of systems were in place for the sample development to grow into a system for production. And I was talking her through that. So it's a great moment. I worked with them for 5 years before eventually going off to Hong Kong. And then I spent many years working there, learning globally about manufacturing, and actually came back and started working with designers to help them build their collections, join their collections, and with really fantastic ethical suppliers that would do incredible techniques that they just couldn't get anywhere else, and wanted to add extra sort of resources to their growing brands. So some of their manufacturing pieces was pulled together in factories globally, not just in the UK, where they could get further trims, and elements that they just couldn't get in the UK at that time. And also that might be Italy, but particularly I loved working with Hong Kong through because it was a gateway into Vietnam, China, India, and I've continued to work in that way, where I've pulled on expert resources in various other countries where there's specialism or materials that we needed. So, for example, silk for English eccentrics building their plain collections, instead of buying it through the UK wholesalers, we could go to source of where it was made in China and actually get that silk Devore velvet and also silk satin that we used in gigantic amounts, base cloth, actually produced and bought directly. So we could cleverly join up the tailored supply chain, and that's what I did for many, many brands, and joined it up for them to create, to save waste, to save cost, and also make it more uniquely pulled together in a really authentic way. This is me presenting my collection and my best-selling dress, just talking about it just last year, and showing how I started with vintage inspiration, which I'm very much going to talk about today, things that you can sort of, that inspire you, and then you can take you forward into decorating and developing into your own unique pieces as inspiration. And that's what I did with this beautiful old vintage gold dress. Took the concept. I've now actually done a version with sleeves, but at that time it was the cap sleeve, and my best-selling dress for Forever Young collections was this turquoise one, and it was a very limited edition collection. It was only sold to high-end designer shops and boutiques, and we sold hundreds and hundreds in this color. This is why I'm particularly showing you. It was about dual colors as well. So I've sort of worked both ends of the spectrum in many different ways, and I want to show you that richness of experience that I have through that, and also how I translate it into working and bringing fashion into uniforms today. And then that could be your unique take on what your uniform signature style is for you. It doesn't need to be a uniform that everyone's wearing, but it's a uniform that you wear that is totally authentic to you and honors your style. It lifts you up, makes you feel amazing, and helps you do what you do best. And it effortlessly communicates a strong message that you want communicating. Some people are very unconscious of the message what they're wearing is communicating. So why do uniforms matter? Well, a study carried out for the site, I thought this would be interesting for everybody, whether you're an individual looking for upcycled or brands. So why uniforms matter? The study carried out with our Sawyer Business School found that uniforms are so important a component in hospitality, because they actually help establish a brand's identity. They enhance, why is this? Well, they enhance customers' knowledge of the brand. They provide incredible loyalty. And I have got percent statistics in this, which I will pull out of those that report and put into this for future, because I think the statistics say a huge amount about it. Does a more powerful voice than your own advertising. So having a strong knowledge of the brand for the customer through the identity of the uniform meant that the customer was able, and the employees were able to have better loyalty, a stronger positive attitude towards the brand, which is extremely important, and which naturally increases repeat orders, repeat purchasing activity, which naturally increases profit, which is what we all want to do in an effortless way, which honors great quality and coming back to those that really serve us well. When your business has strong brand assets, and your uniform look and style is a very strong brand asset. The brand assets, other brand assets are style, your style ethos as well, your ethics, your culture, your quality of materials, people, obviously your interior is also interconnected with all of that, and of course your service. So these are all strong brand assets that you want to be known for, which causes a much stronger connection. So if you work on all these elements, you absolutely unite and empower the energy behind your style and your message and your values. Most importantly, it communicates your values, so which in turn creates more trust. It makes you more distinctive, and it gives you better alignment with your values. So talking about signature style, so I've been working with creating signature style for teams. This is actually something that brands pay me for, to go in and review what their signature style is. And I thought this would be really powerful to talk to you about it as also individuals, while we have this opportunity, or even for your brand, while you're thinking, what do we do next? What do we do the other side of all of this? So how to create your bespoke style for your signature style for your teams is a course that we'd know, a workshop, but we can go through many of its elements online. So what we have repeatedly found again and again and again, the top 3 problems with uniform and art and style that we come up against are: 1 is poor identity and brand management. So it doesn't communicate the real true identity of the brand. Number 2, it gives really poor engagement for the wearers, because they are not engaged with what they're wearing. They're not empowered with what they're wearing. And number 3, they have poor fit, because it hadn't been thought through for the multiple diversity of body shapes that are the wearers, and therefore weaker performance. So what we want to look at is how you can get the very best bang for your buck out of what you wear, that is long lasting, if it can be a long lasting piece, and durable, practical, stylish, ethical, and most importantly is loved and makes the person that wears it feel their very, very best. This is my bit of the joke. Do you want to, there's this lovely gentleman having to sell premium wines. So is he feeling empowered, or is he feeling shame? So adding a textile stylish touch could make a massive difference to how empowered he is to sell. Oh, slide. So I was going back to the bespoke methodology, which I've talked about with you before. So just checking time. So B for bespoke. Your bespoke methodology is about beauty. B for beauty. It must be beautiful. If it doesn't look beautiful, you just won't get drawn to it, because beauty is energy. E for ethics. You can feel really proud and know it's been really thoroughly thought through, that everybody through the whole making of the process is ethical. Hand on heart, you can honestly say you have served well. So even buying secondhand, I get a kick out of it, because I know I'm doing something good for the planet. I'm being sustainable. I'm reusing waste, and I'm making something that's been forgotten or and discarded as something not great as gold, and something that can be recreated and loved again. See my little dummy in the background, because I've done a lovely thing with the collar there. So we've got, and then we've got S for style. It must be stylish, or why would you want to wear it? You've got to make you feel good. Even if it is a simple shirt or a jacket or a pair of trousers, it can make such a difference when the cut feels stylish and it makes you feel comfortable, because there's more. When you've bought things that are really, really special, and then other things that, maybe are a bit sort of, there's something not right about it and you just feel odd about it. That's because there's something not working for you. It hasn't got the right style for you or your body shape. or it just hasn't got style, full stop. And then there's P for people. That is the most important thing. At the end of the day, it's all about how you're dressing those people. Are they going to feel honoured? Are they going to feel respected? Are they going to be able to feel their very best? And that's what is really important, looking and feeling your very best so you can do your best job. Or just feeling so comfortable that you're just happy in your own skin to be who you really are, but also represent the brand that you're representing in a really powerful way. So that's why we were talking the other day with a colleague of mine about doing bespoke masks, masks that actually match your brand style. So yes, the other day I was out in my beige with him, sort of really nice sort of print embroidery sweatshirt. So I thought, well, I've got to choose a mask then for me that works for me. And I just chose this fantastic sort of customized leopard print. I'm trying lots of different styles out, and this is just one using old jersey up, based on an old black template mask. So just to jazz it up a bit. So customizing masks is a new thing I'm looking at, but also it's a really big point. Have you thought about it for your uniform? Is it connected to your uniform? Because you're going to need them, and we're going to need them for a long time while these airborne issues are there, and it's just going to make people feel more comfortable, be able to carry on with their work. And my daughter, I've made it out of an old t-shirt of hers, just experimenting with a bit of jersey because she'd been decorating it, and then this side put a little flower, but she loved it and she was wearing it cycling around this weekend. So I just thought you might enjoy those too. Or you could go for the more kitchen-y touch. And this is out of an old napkin. I'm going to show you this now. I'm not getting this on very well. I think I've put it on upside down. Let's start right. That's better. Not so great on my ears. But it's really comfortable, it fits well, and it's breathable. And I think, that for the hospitality, this is going to look good. So choose your style, create your style. We're going to go on to that now. Organize, and it's P for people, O for organization, K for kindness. What you give out, you get back tenfold. We believe in good karma. And E for endless, sustainable supply. So I'm going to whiz through the top 14 questions now, and then you can sort of really go to town and start looking at your style. And if you want to have a further conversation, please reach out to me. There is multiple packages that you can look at for as individuals or in brands as a starting point to get you started, or even just do a uniform review, get a new update done, whether that's customized or a new collection that's needing to replace an old, tired, worn out one. So what do you like about your style and your outfits? What do you not like about your style or your outfits? These are the key questions to start sort of thinning out what works, what doesn't work. What's working, what's not working. What are the 3 words that sum up your style and your values? Because they need to sort of align on top of each other. So it could be your values and then what style reflects your values. Number 4, what is your wow? What's your wow colours? What is the brand colour scheme that you really want sort of key elements of honing in on? You'll know what your wow colours for you are because people will have commented on something you've worn again and again, or they'll say, wow, that really makes your eyes really, I've never noticed your eyes were blue or green or whatever. So look for the colours that most honour you. For example, you might know some get like navies and browns and also beiges and florals and creams. I don't wear white and I don't wear black because it doesn't suit my skin. I need yellow tones. And some people need blue tones, which would be blacks and whites and silver and very harsh colours, whereas I can do golds and navy and brown and beiges and autumnal colours, and pinks and greens are absolutely amazing on me, and certain reds, but they have to have the yellow tone. So think of that for you. Does your skin need more yellow adding? And you can just play with things by putting things up against your face. There's too much blue tone for me in this, so that's not ideal for me. But then I can do grey and green, and these elements just work better for me. So then think, what if you were a shop, what kind of shop would you be? What was your market aspiration that you'd be at? Are you a Gucci or a Prada, or are you a Selfridges, or perhaps even thinking House of Fraser or John Lewis, or are you the Peter Jones of John Lewis? You know, so think about those market aspirations that you want to sit at. Are you a good, solid value brand, or are you a more of a real premium designer bespoke brand, or a Savoy? You know, if you're thinking in terms of hotel, or are you a Savoy or the Waldorf? So think of the aspirations around that, you know, and think of yourself as a brand if it's an individual, or think of your brand, your business, your company, your hotel as a brand, and have it, who would be its aspiration that you're looking to be. Is it the Shangri-La? Is it the Mandarin Oriental? That kind of thing. Who is your brand icon or person if you're an individual? Julia Roberts, who's absolutely, I adore her as a character. And so thinking along the lines of who do you admire, who do you absolutely love, I think is, you know, sort of like the epitome of style and grace. What are your key retirements? So for this is going to be a very individual thing for all of you. What are you actually looking for? Are you looking for new jackets, or ways to sort of update your collection, your uniform? You've got a bit bland and basic. Or as an individual, are you just looking to sort of have some core style uniform pieces that are unique to you, which are your go-to sort of amazing sort of pieces for each area of your life? Might be maybe casually, it might be for work, it might be for presentations, it might be for trainings, or social life. So you can really get some and the strong colours that are in that. You know, maybe you need to dye a few things, or they're just too tired and they're not your style anymore, really, and you need to pass them on to a second-hand shop or a charity. What are your requirements? So do you have a diversity or body shape issues in the body of people that you're trying to address, or for yourself that you need to address first? So for example, on women, I want to go through this for you. There are 4 types of body shape, and that's sort of pretty much similar for men. But with men, depending on the restrictions on the uniform, is it, you know, being trousers and shirts and jackets, there are ways to play with that for the men. But for women, you're either an hourglass, which wraps, these kind of things, wrap overs are really good for hourglass shapes. Anything that draws attention to your waist is really accentuating the best bits of you. If you're an apple shape, you've got great shoulders and you've got great legs, and you want to accentuate those pieces. So a shift dress, that kind of shape, or more boxy look, is great for you. So nothing that's too accentuating in the middle. If so, that might be even a bolero jacket. might be a good area, or a longer, something that's got giving a longer line jacket, so that maybe goes over the hip, that, that's straight. That could work really, really well. For women who are straight, like me, we need to accent the waist. So I'm just going to show you, for example, that's why wraps are quite good. Anything that creates a little curve or a little jacket. I'm quite straight-waisted, so I don't have a very defined waist, but I have one, but I'm straighter, which means my measurements tend to be very similar along, just a little bit coming in at the waist. So if you have a curved peplum or anything that juts out, that's really good for those kind of straighter bodied shapes like me. And also, you have to think of back lengths. Are you a long-waisted person or a short-waisted person? Because then playing with the length of your jackets and where the waist fits on both men and women is really important. So certain styles that are going to be better suited to certain men, certain women. And you can, if we're doing that as a body of people, say there's 1,000 members of staff, we can sort of do a little cross section of what the average body shapes that we're looking at, and areas to steer clear of that gives the masses, the majority, and the minority the best standardized look and feel that gives everyone comfort and ability to feel their very best. But for individuals as well, so if the final area is pear-shaped, so if you're a pear-shaped, it's more A-line you want to go for. A-line shapes are basically heavier on the bottom end, above the knee, great shape, or even perhaps a very long A-line if you feel like wearing that kind of thing. So that's a really good shape to go with. So maybe flared trousers would work really well on the pear as well. And you don't want to draw attention to the pear end, the bottom end of the pear. So you want to sort of flow over that. So that's how to get the maximum out of it. Do a waist and really great shoulders. Those kind of things work really well. So, and as we change seasons, we're going into more of a layered look, and we can go lighter. So lighter jackets or even boleros are really, really good. For men, perhaps they can go without the ties, if that's part of their attire, or even dress down to a t-shirt under a jacket. Works so well, moving from a shirt, just sort of lightening the area, the layers. I always find that jersey, stretchy stuff, it just works so nice in the springtime months as well. So what do I want to go on to there? And then you've got to think about your individual colours, tonalising with your skin colours. So that needs a little bit more work individually. You may see a stylist for that, or again, we can talk about those things if you want to get in touch directly. And I can link you up. So with a plan. So is there a lead time? Is there a deadline that you need your work doing by? Do you have a goal or event that you're working towards? Is there a ceremony? Is there a launch going to be happening, say in October? This is, if we're producing for uniform, we really need to be thinking at least that it's launching in October at this point, really, to do all the development. And that's even very, very tight. So an end of year launch, you'd be thinking about it completely now. You'd be getting everything collated together, getting our samples, everything ready to be able to launch the new collection on your people with full manufacture done. All your stock items all pulled together and branded and ready to go in the distribution centre. Think about your budget. We can make anything you like. We can create anything up. We can source anything you like. But it's about thinking, can I actually work to this market level? If I really want to look like, the Goring Hotel, have really, really stand out, brilliant impact, make a first impression within 3 seconds. That's the kind of, you've got to think quite high on your budget per person, even thinking between depending on the role, if obviously the concierge has got much heavier jackets and coats on to formality, but if you're on your restaurant stuff, you could be thinking with their 3 outfits, you know, you'd be looking more to start around £500 per head minimum. That might be even more for the men because they've got maybe a 3-piece suit and a jacket and a shirt. So whereas the women are just, you know, in a very nice bespoke dress, we've got 3 sets of them. So think like that in terms of what end of the budget are you really realistically able to have. And then that could dictate whether you can go bespoke or whether you can go off the shelf, and depending on your overall total numbers, matching a certain minimum that we'd need to discuss. With regard to if you're a sustainability guru like me and you're buying for yourself individually, the sky can be the limit if you're shopping second hand, buying designer stuff that's being sold again. There's so many sellers like Shona Mac and Wardrobe HQ. You can rent pieces, but also I love to trawl a good second-hand shop, and I use eBay, I use Depop. There's brilliant sources for second-hand, and you can get something really amazing, and even upcycle it, and you won't spend a fortune, you won't cost the earth. So it's good for people, it's good for the planet, and it's good for your purse. I always think it's great to just give as much inspiration as possible on you, on your brand, because that way you've got a really good sort of source pool of, to brief people with if you're having help with this area, and also for your own reference. So putting mood boards together and Pinterest boards is a really great idea. I should have put an example of one of those in there, but I will do that for the next time I do this. And then I'm going to make a note of that too, so that you can actually have great inspiration. You can do this on Pinterest anyway, so that then it can be a digital board, which I love to do too, that can be part of putting together a whole theme of things around, perhaps, for example, a film or a decade that you're sort of really Mad Men or whatever it is that you're into, for the style that you're looking at, or perhaps brand aspiration and values that you're looking at, and key pieces. So some great stuff you can do there. Somebody's had a very loud sneeze. So here's an example of a little bit of a mood board together there, but that's pulling out style features on jackets. So if you're really designing towards a jacket, pulling out all the features that you really like, so you can really whittle it down. This is very broad. This is giving you a very broad selection. It hasn't really been brief, but you can tell it's sort of more in the glam direction, but mixing it up with casual there on the bottom. And then there's doing sketching and bespoke sketching. Not everyone's able to do that, but that's the kind of thing we would go to and start putting together some bespoke looks, how it would look on the people, sort of like illustrate, and also just sort of like trying to sort of imagine things before we get something bespoke made. So, board. And picking up on the key words: individual, stylish, fitted, comfortable, had to call, make people feel great. And this was something we did for bills, obviously, and put their little pink and green labels in there just as a real quirky little retro feel. And more feminine look, picking up elements of bits of embroidery that I like to put. This was for a very old collection, around a neckline and around a cardigan. Actually, that is the actual embroidery there, that I was using on the cardigan, or a very similar one to that anyway. Probably in a sketchbook. So do you have favourite pieces that actually in the collection that actually you really want to keep going, so then you can build a collection around that? Or do you have things that you want to, that then you can actually duplicate from, or just add to, customize, or in other words, what I call upcycle as well. So to summarize your whole brand look and feel, so we've gone through 11 questions actually. So that's the key thing for the signature style in a whistle-top way, obviously doing it generically for you. To summarize, what do you want your first impression to say, whether it's a meeting, whether it's a social event, whether it's a party, whether it's a restaurant, a hotel, it's the reception desk, it's the food hall. Align your uniform or your individual style with your brand values. I want you to feel that you can connect with your clients by mirroring what your brand style is about, that they're all about, and you've really got that for them, and they're feeling like, oh wow, this is just totally my kind of thing, because you've worked out your demographic customer and you're mirroring that style in some key elements of that brand style. So connecting with your clients through mirroring the brand style is a great technique, through knowing that demographic really clearly, and then empowering. And that I do even that for meetings. If I know I'm going to a sort of more formal meeting, I will dress more formally for that occasion. If I know I'm going to more of a, you know, the Hoxton sort of thing, or the Ace Hotel, I will be a bit more edgy. I will dress according to my audience, because they understand that I get them, and vice versa. And that's not being me and authentic to me, it's just being honorable of how am I going to best feel like I fit in that situation completely. I'm the part, I work with that kind of look as well, and it's just having other elements of yourself. And then finally, your uniform, your look, it actually sells you, and it actually sells your brand. So it's essentially everything that you could say that you wouldn't put into words. So there may be next steps that you want to look at. You might want to look at choosing a package for yourself, consultancy wise, and also with regard to having a discussion with me. There is things on our website, on Bespoke Text web consulting page, if you're a brand. If you're an individual, there is also workshops that we'll be doing after we come out of lockdown. But if you just want to have to explore having a whole look at all your styles, then we can set up a package that's bespoke to you through what you're most wanting from discussing from today, and we can tell you our minimum prices through to full-on services. So it's best to explore that by reaching out, so I know what your real requirements are, and of course we can do a bespoke quotation. So book a discovery session, explore 20 minutes on a Zoom call or on the phone, and we can take a look at how to serve you best. Now, for a bit of upcycling inspiration to end here. This is going back to the past. I thought this was just a bit of fun, where I used to sell customized vintage clothes alongside doing all my consulting. I did this at Portobello and Spitalfields Market. I think this was 2000, so 20 years ago. So just showing you, you know, this is a passion I've been doing now for 35 years. And then taking some elements, and this is how I design as well in collections. I take elements from ranges, and then I actually, maybe a dress in this side, it was a beautiful French lace dress. I drew out the pieces and then I replaced it into a wrap, and I put it on a mesh material to sort of make it more modern twist. I also then translated that to what it could look like on a bustier, and then mocked it up in a handbag, which I have those pieces and still wear to this day. And there's a few upcycling examples to play with here that I'm going to show you now on the stand. So this is one of my jackets we were talking about this week. And so what's key about jackets, I'm going to actually bring this stand down to get a better picture of it in the screen. There we go. I can stay sitting down. So I was talking about upcycling this jacket, which some of you might remember from last week, and I was suggesting a couple of little options and how to update something that maybe is a bit dull, or you're not really sure why you've got it in your wardrobe anymore, but perhaps it fills a gap that you've got several navy jackets like I have and I don't need to have any more. So if this one's going to be in my collection, it's got to have a slightly different look about it. But it's given me a whole idea for a uniform collection as well, where you can have like 2 reveres, where it can be opened out as it would normally would be, like that. And that's the normal look of the jacket, obviously with the collar pulled down, which is great. But actually having the alternative as well, also in there, and then having a collar that can be detachable with, say, hook and eyes, which can be sewn on, and then we can update those. But individually, you know, we've all got things lying around, hidden away, that we in haberdashery or sewing kits that maybe we even pass down to us if they're not your own. And that's what I've got from my lovely grandmother, and I love dipping into that resource. But this I got years ago from some old ladies collection. I think it's actually probably quite valuable, so even more important to honor it and wear it and use it. But what I love about it is it picks up on the gold of the buttons, but you could actually change the buttons and go for something much sort of more sort of modern and funky, like a coloured one. We've also got something that could go like a black, which is quite nice with the press, so it's less sort of blingy, because it is a bit harsh, that one. I haven't got all my button collections out, but as you can see, just keeping buttons from other items. So you could go for, say, like a really bright blue or a pink or a yellow. I have some gorgeous strong coloured buttons in there, if you, depending on the elements that you're wanting to pick out in the jacket. That's one of my little tips for today, and that's what I've decided to do on this jacket, just to add a little twist. And I think it's quite simple for anyone to have a go at. And if you can't do the sewing yourself, you can get somebody like your dry cleaners to do it. And I believe there's quite a lot of places that are still also open at the moment in lockdown. So this is good for now as well. But this is a teeny weeny little hook, and it's got a little hook, and I need to find an eye. There's no eyes in this little pack, but you would sew that so it fits underneath like that, and then the eye would go on that side and it sits under the collar. And then if you're wearing it, differently, you can either take that little hook off for the time you're wearing it, or it can just sit on there and be part of a feature. I really like what I've done there, and it sort of gives it a really nice sort of preppy but unique look. So thank you very much. See what you've got, see what you can bring out, and send me pictures. Post them in the group Sustainable Style. Join the Sustainable Style group if you're not in there. You can find me on Facebook. I have a page called Katie Young Gerald. That's got my book. It's got about sustainable style upcycling, things that I love. Also for businesses, there's also an Instagram, say Sustainable Style Show. And then there's YouTube, and you can see lots of great sustainable style tips there, little videos, and the same for Bespoke Textiles. We've got videos there for talking about uniform side of collections, and then also you'll find me professionally on LinkedIn. If you want to connect with me, you can make connection there, and we can stay in touch until you're ready to reach out, or just drop us a mail at studio at bespoketextiles.co.uk. And here's my personal website, just to end as well, which is about some of the things, all the things I've done over the years, a mixture of everything. So lots of resources there for you to find inspiration from. I hope to be hearing from you and connecting with you and helping you with your signature styles very soon. Thank you very much. Yeah, drop me any questions, send me your pictures of things you're working on. I'd love to see any upcycling thing as well. Thank you.